you ever tried to change something about yourself? For many years, I struggled to have consistent devotion time with God. Now, don't get me wrong, I'd pray when I felt like it. I'd read the Bible. I'd listen to God. But I rarely started my day with any of those things. I was inconsistent. And I carried my inconsistency into becoming a pastor several years ago. And I realized I wanted to change. I wanted to become more consistent. So I began to try different times and different ways of spending time with God. I tried evening devotions. It didn't stick. I tried listening to prayers or scripture. It didn't stick. I tried apps. I tried different times of day, and I remained inconsistent. I was so frustrated. Then the pandemic hit in 2020, and my coach recommended that I release a short video each day, a brief thought. What was I going to say? Every day? I thought his idea was a good idea, so to make my coach's recommendation work, I started to read scripture each day. That way I could share a scripture and a brief thought on it every day. And I found it was helpful to jot down some of those thoughts. And in jotting down those thoughts, I inadvertently started journaling. Now, you all helped me by engaging those brief daily thoughts. You see, none of this happens for me without the accountability of some of you engaging what I was producing. I needed some of you involved for the change to happen in my life. So guess what happened? I developed a new habit. And now over 2.5 years later, I have consistent devotion time with God. Each morning while eating my breakfast, I read scripture, I read commentaries, I reflect on the Bible, and I write in my journal. I do all of that before engaging any technology. And again, I could not have done it on my own. Thank you. You're helping me to become a better follower of Jesus by helping me make it a habit to spend consistent time with God. Maybe you've experienced this in some way in your own life. It can be fantastically hard to change our habits and our ways of thinking. That's the problem that I'd like to address today. It's incredibly hard, almost impossible to grow and change by ourselves. I gave you an example of a personal habit that puts me in God's presence, but there are plenty of other habits that I could talk about. For example, many of us struggle with our eating habits. And if you want to change your eating habits, I suggest joining some sort of program like Weight Watchers, because it's very difficult to lose weight and make healthy choices on our own. It helps to have accountability. It helps to have other people who are working along with us on the same goal. There's a momentum that happens when we gather with other people. It pushes us toward what we want to be. Thinking about this idea of change, it brings us to our first question for discussion. What has helped you to change something about yourself that you want to change? Let's take a moment and discuss that.